Besides smart art, charts are also a very effective way to present information in your presentation. Let's start by creating a new slide. From the Home tab in the ribbon, I'll hit the drop down on New Slide, and this time I'll choose the Layout, Title and Content. The title for this slide is Expected Earnings. And from the collection of 6 objects, I'm going to click the middle one in the top row, which is to insert a chart. At this point I get to choose a chart type, so I'll just stick with a column chart for now and click OK. Immediately a spreadsheet appears and I'm able to change the data in the spreadsheet. What I might do is just resize it a little so that I can see the data and the PowerPoint chart at the same time. This isn't always necessary, but as you can see it's necessary for me to do this. Where Category 1 appears in the chart at the bottom axis, what I'd like to do there is show the word $mil. So I'm going to change Category 1 to $mil. And that appears automatically on my chart. Where I see Series 1, I want to change that. Now let me just move that. I want to change that to say organ. So I'll type organ in Series 1. And it automatically appears in my chart. Series 2, I'd like to change that to bank. Series 3, change that to insurance. And to the right of insurance, lotto. And to the right of lotto, I'll just move that over a little bit, I'd like to see millionaire. So these are the entries I want to see in my legend, and that's the name of this object here, is the legend. Now for organ, I reckon $2 million. Next 3, next 5, and 3, and 10. And so those are the values I want plotted, and they're immediately plotted here. Now category 2, 3, and 4, I actually don't want to see that in this chart. So this is where this little piece of information is handy. To resize the chart data range, drag the lower right corner of the range. Okay, so I'll put my mouse in the bottom right corner of the blue border and I'll drag up. Which means I only want to plot this range here, A1 to F2, and that's what I'm showing in my chart. Now that I've finished entering the data for my chart, I can close this Excel session, and there's my chart in PowerPoint. If I want to change the chart type, now that I have a chart, I can do so by going to the Chart Tools Design tab in the ribbon and clicking the Change Chart Type button. There are many chart types in PowerPoint, and they're all listed in categories over here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to choose a 3D column chart, so I'm going to click this option here. So you can change the chart type at any time. And there's my 3D column chart. If I wanted to edit the data, I'd simply hit this button here and change the information that I had plotted. If I wanted to choose a chart layout, I'd simply choose a layout from this collection here. Until I found one I was happy with. That one there. Also I have chart styles, so I can hit this drop down here and choose from a whole gallery of styles. So I might go for this one here. Alright, so those are the options on the Chart Tools Design tab. In terms of layout, I can embellish my chart with extra elements, like a chart title. I'll choose a chart title above the chart, here it is here, and I'll edit this to say, expected, millions of dollars. I can also add axis titles. I have an axis title going across the bottom here, but I can further embellish that by going to Axis Titles and choosing a vertical axis title and perhaps a rotated title. And type dollars. If I go back to Axis Titles and choose a primary horizontal, I can put a title below the axis and call it various options. I can also control my legend using the Legend button. For example, I could control the placement of my legend. I could show my legend at the right, I could show my legend at the left, wherever you like the legend to be. So I might say no legend for this stage. Data labels can also be shown on the graph or the chart. These are the points that are being plotted. If I choose data labels, I simply choose show, and it's showing the values that are being plotted actually on the chart. If I go back to data labels, I can choose none and turn them off. Data tables are very good. If I choose data table, I can show a data table with legend keys, which is why I got rid of the legend earlier. If I click that option, here's my data table showing me the various values that are being plotted. Or I can turn it off. None. And I can bring my legend back and put it on the right. So there are many elements that you can change in terms of labeling your chart. You can also control grid lines. I might decide I want primary vertical grid lines and major ones at that. And now I have major primary vertical grid lines. You can also format your chart in many ways, and this is under the Chart Tools Format tab. For instance, I might click this bar and decide I want to emphasize it because it's my largest earner. So I'll go to Shape Fill and I can choose a color. I could click on each bar and choose a separate color. Or I could go to Shape Styles and choose from the Shape Styles. The other thing you can do with charts is animate charts, and we know this from looking at animation earlier. But what I'd like to do is click on the frame around the chart and go back to animations. I'd like to choose Fly In again, and I'd like to slow down the rate it flies in. So I alter the duration. Now effect options is what I'm really wanting to draw your attention to. We've looked at effect options many times with regards to the direction. Perhaps it flies in from the bottom, or from the top, or from the left. But what I want to show you that's unique to charts is whether it flies in by series, one bar at a time, by category, by element in series, and by element in category. And this will vary depending on your chart. But the main point here is you can animate a chart and you have special options, special effect options with regards to charts. So I'm going to choose by series. So we looked at animation a while ago, but I hope that you have been animating all the titles and all the objects on the various slides as we've been going through these notes. If not, go back now and just quickly check that things are animated on each slide. And always look in the effect options for unique options depending on the type of object you've got on your slide.